hello, everybody. How are you doing this evening? It is Wednesday. It is February the 12th, 2025. Now, listen, can you believe that this time is just flying by? And we flew through January, and now we're in February. And February is a month for a lot of things that are going on, and we're going to focus our attention on love in different aspects. We had a great conversation last week. We're going to have another great conversation this week. And you know what we do at this particular time? First of all, my name is Dr. Paula Obie, and you have joined the Power of Transformation broadcast. I get so excited, I forget to tell people who I am and where we are. But listen, we're going to have a great conversation tonight. It's going to be a heart to heart with me on a subject that's really important. So, you know what we do? We always want our family and our friends to know that we're on, and we have to remind them and tag them and text them. And if you have a moment, give them a call and tell them that the Power of Transformation broadcast is on. And I'm going to do the same thing, and we're going to be right back. See you soon. Hello, hello, hello. You will notice that I do have a few balloons in the back, and I'm going to tell you, those balloons were just acting really crazy. They all wanted to bunch up. They didn't want to play together, and I had to get out the tape, and I had to do some work, but I wanted the balloons to represent Valentine's Day. I know it's a little early, but it's important for us to celebrate, right? So for me, this is a month of love, and we're going to discuss, as I said, love in different capacities. But also, this is the second anniversary of something that was really wonderful that happened in my life that we're going to talk about towards the end of the show, because it just was a wonderful thing. So let me tell you, I had a little bit of a different topic in mind to discuss tonight. I really did. And then I watched a show. And you know what happens when you watch these YouTubes and whatever, something gets planted in your head. But I felt like this was an important conversation for us to have. So tonight we want to talk about love, but we want to talk about the importance of self-love. Now I'm going to sit back in my chair and relax and get really comfortable, because I'm going to walk down memory lane a little bit. And I'm going to tell you, I said this at the beginning of this new year, that we would talk about some things that are just personal, that from the heart. So I will interject some personal information, but I went back into my childhood, y'all. And I tried to determine who discussed with Paula the topic of self-love. I could not find a single person who had the audacity or who felt like they needed to have a conversation with me about self-love. So then I kept walking down memory lane just to see, in my teenage years, in my young adult years, who actually discussed self-love with me. And I said, I can't remember. Maybe it was intertwined in a lot of other conversations. But as I began to think about, my family and our community, and as a community of faith, we believe in the scriptures. And the scripture says that you should love your neighbor as you love yourself. So it's in there, the scriptures, that maybe we should love ourselves, but maybe we didn't know how to discuss loving ourselves. However, if it's important enough to be in the scriptures, it's important enough to me to follow. And loving yourself means something different to one person and something different to another. But it makes sense to me. And I've said it before. If I don't know how to love Paula, then how effectively am I really going to love someone else? And if I don't have anybody there to kind of tell me if I'm on the right track, then I could have been on the wrong track for years. And of course, I evaluated my relationships. I did a self evaluation because this show is about self love. So I sat back and I thought about my relationships. I thought about them and I said, if I didn't understand, listen to me, self love, well, you know what? No wonder I was engaged in so many different scenarios that for me sometimes just did not make sense. Now, to set the stage, I will say that I had a lot of things going on in my childhood. A lot. I mean, we had deaths in my family. I had two deaths in my family, immediate family, before I was age 11. So self love was definitely not something we were thinking about. We were thinking about survival. And the death of my brother was amazing. Was traumatic enough because he was the closest brother to me. And then 15 months later, my mom passed. So the state that I was in, if anybody said anything about self love, I wouldn't have heard it because I was busy trying to survive that particular time. It was a time of change. But what I noticed as I got older, and this is where it becomes real, my relationships weren't the best. They were toxic. Many of them were toxic. And I'm wondering if I had a bit of a handle on the self-love part. I'm wondering if I would have made different choices. This is not for me to go back to memory lane and stay there. This is me to use this conversation as a springboard for moving forward. Because I believe there may be someone out there who is maybe younger than me or just like me saying, you know what, I don't know if I even have a handle on self-love. We're in a different place than 30 years ago. We have all kinds of information at our fingertips. Some of it's very good and some of it's not so good. But this self-love and knowing how to love you and to care about you impacts you in so many different ways. And then just sitting down and just thinking about it, I came across this amazing article. And the article is going to be the basis for our conversation tonight. I did not want this conversation, this heart to heart, to be about, bashing anyone and blaming anyone, because that is not the purpose of this broadcast. This broadcast is about change. This broadcast is about transformation. So whatever we've gone through to get us from one place to another, honey, that's what the power of transformation is all about. So tonight we're going to look at an article I found intriguing. It's the name of the article is 10 Signs That You Don't Love Yourself. It's from Psychology Spot. And the name of the writer is Jennifer Delgado. And I found this when I Googled it. And I thought this might be a really good way for me to really discuss self-love. To talk about signs and signals. Nothing is definitive and written in stone, but if it can bring us to a different place of awareness, if these points can bring us to a different place of reality, we might have some aha moments. I did, y'all. So if you'll give me the time, I don't like to stay really long on the heart to hearts, but this is kind of juicy. And if we don't get through all the juicy components, we'll leave the link and you can go and check it out on your own, because we also have another topic to discuss as well. So point number one. If you do not feel free to be who you are, you might have a sign that you don't love yourself. What does that mean? Do you feel ashamed? Do you put a lot of energy into pleasing others? I am going to be extremely transparent and tell you that for a long time, I spent a lot of time trying to make other people happy. And it never worked long. They were happy for a minute. But I'm a gift. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. But I I don't think that all the energy that I was trying to put into others to please them was healthy for me. I can tell you it wasn't, because when I ended up in therapy, she was like, no, that's not why you're here. So think about it for a minute. Are you free to be who you are? Or are you spending a great deal of your time trying to make others say how wonderful you are and to please them? Hmm. Lots to think about. Lots to think about. Now, the second point, this one was a big one for me. This one is huge. You do not spend time alone. Now, I can honestly say that I love myself from this standpoint. I love spending some time with me, reading my book, looking at my Murdoch mysteries in my British genres. I love chilling out. I love doing my makeup and my, oh, honey, turning my music. This is one time when I will get very upset with someone if I can't spend time alone. However, y'all, in full disclosure, I was involved in a relationship where it was almost like I was not allowed to spend time alone. The trust issues were just crazy. So every time I would relax to meditate or relax to do different things, there was a constant interruption. Constant. And I know I remember that feeling of, really? You can't just sit here for an hour and entertain yourself. You have to be that connected. Now, I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist, and I'm not here to give any tips and tricks in that area. But I would say that that person had some deep seated issues where maybe they didn't love themselves because they couldn't spend time alone. And I was happy. After a while, I want to be around people, but I don't mind having that downtime where I focus on me. I like that. How many of you feel the same way? How many of you are okay with spending time alone versus those who don't feel so comfortable with it? Something to think about. The next bullet, it says you do not express your ideas. I'm raising my hand on this one because this was a big deal for me. And it was one of the reasons why I did not push myself in certain areas, because I didn't often feel comfortable speaking for myself. Now, that was definitely a result of my environment, because I can honestly say that a lot of people think you should be seen and not heard, and that their ideas are better than yours. For some reason, they're the ideas person. However, when you become an adult, you have ideas. You need to learn how to express. Actually, you need to learn how to express them before you become an adult. A lot of the really good inventions, a lot of the really good, all kinds of things just come from an idea that pops in your head. I can honestly say that this was the deal. This is how this writer expressed number 3, conforming to others' opinions all the time. I added that, might indicate a lack of self-esteem. Signs. Are you a person who shuts down because somebody gives you a look whenever you say, here, I was just thinking about something? Do you shut it down? Think about it. I was there for a while, not there anymore. Now, professionally, I was paid to have ideas. So that was fine. If they say, give Paula about 20 minutes, give her a day, she'll come up with some ideas. So professionally, I had a handle on it. But personally, I seem to just retreat. Let somebody else talk about it. Let somebody else do it. But maybe personally was a real representation of how I felt about myself and my self-esteem. I want you to think about that because that's really important. Number 4, you do not pamper yourself. Not treating yourself to small pleasures might mean you don't feel good about yourself. I think within the past few years, there's been a lot of conversation about self care and about self love, and it ties itself into it. So I think we're moving to a place where society is telling us. I know I get all kinds of indicators that you can pamper yourself with them, however you pamper yourself. You know, a lot of people with the mani pedis or whatever, however you do it, the facials, all of those things. Pampering yourself is a way to love yourself. And I also believe that it will help you love others. I'm going to keep moving on. Number 5, you do not appreciate your achievements. Boom. This one hit me in the chest. What did she mean? Downplaying your accomplishments could be a sign of self love. This kind of happened just the other day when somebody was talking about somebody else's accomplishment, and the person just downplayed it. I thought, that's not, well, no, that's not true. When you've accomplished something, the last thing you want to do is pretend that you didn't accomplish it. That's the last thing you want. But if you are around people who are really, I'm going to use the word sensitive, sensitive to others. I'm going to give you an example. I remember someone told me this, quote unquote, do not go over there talking about your doctorate anymore. Nobody wants to hear that. People are sick of hearing that. Now, unquote, I was accustomed to this person having a problem with it. I'd spent many years with this conversation with this person. However, this is the deal. If I were to flip the switch and talk about their accomplishments, they want to talk about it for 4 or 5 hours. So the issue is these are people who just don't want to hear what you got going on. I talked about it anyway. Because someone asked me, well, Paula, what have you been doing? And I just told it. You and I have got to understand one thing about where we are. We've come this far by faith. We've come this far with the help of a creator who loves us and people who have been there with us. Learn to appreciate the achievements because it's a representation of your ability to walk in your calling or walk in your place or whatever it is. You push yourself through it. The issue with this particular conversation, and you can see I'm passionate about it, is the fact that when you don't celebrate you, then you're doing a great disservice not only to you, but to the one who helped you get there. And you didn't get there by yourself. So number 5 is one I wish we could put in neon lights, because there will always be someone, and I mean always, who will go, oh, blah, 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 blah. Oh, she, oh, he. You just need to get out of their presence. Let them finish whatever conversation they have, because you're not responsible for the words that come out of their mouth. You're responsible for who God created you to be, and you're responsible for being obedient, walking in your calling. That's what I got to say about that. You can tell that's a big one. So you need to appreciate how far you've come, because, you work to get there. Number 6, you treat yourself too harshly. Overtly harsh self-criticism can indicate a lack of self-love. Sometimes, we look at ourselves and go, I don't have this, and we point out all the things that are not good about us. Maybe you don't like your hair, maybe you don't like your eyes, maybe you don't like your this, maybe you don't like your that. It's okay for you to just say, I want to improve things. But I'm really with this author right now. What I'm saying is, I really do not want to be in a place anymore, because I've been there, where I'm pointing out all of my deficiencies. So when you make a list, the list should not be all about all the things that you've done wrong. No. Balance. This list should always, and the reflection should always be about what you've managed to accomplish in spite of, because some of the things that I went through, because of really having low self-esteem and low self-worth, I had a long list of what I didn't do well. It was a long time before someone helped me say, "Well, what did you accomplish?" I mean, you've been talking about all these other things. You get into a habit of talking about what you haven't achieved. And then one day I realized, well, I actually got through that. Found me another goal, changed my environment, changed the people I hung out with, and I stopped talking so badly about myself. And that means when you talk to yourself by yourself too. Not just when you are looking at you, you are fearfully and you are wonderfully made. You're going to make some mistakes, but honey, use that as a stepping stone. I've used it and it's helped me. The revelation is this: we all have come through something, been through a lot of some things. All of us, every single person, even the ones that pretend that they don't. If you learn from it, what you want to learn from it, then that's another opportunity for you. Step on that stone, girl. Step on that stone, man, and push yourself forward. All right. Number 7. This one right here kind of hit me a little hard too. It says you do not care for your body. Neglecting physical activity and diet may show a lack of self-respect. I'm working on that. And it hit me. I took a deep breath and I said, okay, you've been working on that since January. Look at you. You see what I did? I gave myself the truth. I told myself the truth. You've been working on it. Look, you've been working on it. And you've made some progress. So let's continue. When you are thinking about love, it's important for you to show you love as much as you show someone else love. So let's move on. I think these are good. I hope you're enjoying these. I hope you're getting something from them. Now, the next one was mission critical to a lot of people. I've heard this conversation spoken so many times in women's groups, and actually men talk about it because I have brothers who talk about it, and at work organizations. It says you do not set boundaries. Woo! Okay. Allowing others to overstep your boundaries can be a sign of low self-worth. We do not have enough time on this show for me to tell you my true stories about how I gave no boundaries to people. They did whatever they wanted to do. I'm like, oh, they'll be all right. Excuse me. Knock, 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 knock. Why are you allowing people to do whatever they want to do? Why are you allowing them to interrupt? Why? That told me that in that particular place for a while during that time, I might have needed to love myself a little bit more. Now, some people might say, "Well, Dr. Obie, I just love them, and I just want them to be happy." Oh, yes, I understand, but they still need boundaries, and so do you, because sometimes a person without boundaries is a person who goes too far. You can't reel them back. Okay, did not set boundaries. Okay. Uh, and number 9, you do not trust yourself. Whew. Trust comes from knowing that you're not going to let yourself down. Again, all of these are signs. There has to be a reason why you don't trust yourself. That there has to be a reason why you can't depend. I can't depend on myself. There has to be a reason. All of these are signs, and if you can actually identify with them, and you feel like they're a big part of your life, you need to figure out how to make that turn around, because you should be the one person that you can trust. You should be the number one person on the trust list. You should work towards knowing that you're going to take care of the situation and you're going to be the first to take care of. You should know that. And then the next one, you do not open yourself to others. I was thinking about a lot of families that are very closed. And I think we talked a little bit about this in the previous broadcast, how there's some things we don't like to discuss because we keep it close to our hearts. And but when it comes to self-love, there has to be some ability to open yourself to others. I want you to dig a little bit deeper in this. Again, I think it's the not just the culture, it's the ability to feel comfortable, and you have to know what to open, what to disclose, and what not to, and when. Because all of that, these are building blocks. You might say, "Well, I don't open myself to others because they might take it and do something with it I don't want." There's always a risk. Take your time. Nobody's asking you to discuss everything at the first moment you meet them. But if you're not open to others, your opportunities for growth may be stunted. Just think about that. The next one. Okay, that's it. There's one more I want to add, if you don't mind. It didn't get on there. This one's mine. Couple of things. Do you pursue your passions? That's an opportunity for you to show love. What are your passions? What do you like to do? I think your passions, kind of give you that icing on the cake in your life. If you love yourself, give yourself permission to pursue them. Don't ignore them. And the very last one that personally has helped me more than anything in my life is when I learned how to forgive Paula. Holding on to all those past mistakes is one of the signs that you're not practicing that type of self love that's going to free you. There are all kinds of ways to forgive yourself. You just have to say, I don't want to hold that against me anymore. I'm sorry I didn't treat you. I'm sorry I didn't look out for you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I turned my back on you. It's all of those things may sound really shallow, but those things are so important. And I don't mean shallow as in shallow. I mean, they may sound like they don't have a pack a punch because you're looking at yourself, whether you're looking at somebody else, but you need to learn to forgive yourself. We all need to say to ourselves, oh, I blew that one. I just blew it. Well, why? I don't know. I was having a crazy day. I just blew it. That relationship, I just blew it. That job opportunity, I just, no, but I forgive you. I'll forgive you because whatever was going on with you on that day or during that time, oh my goodness, you didn't have your head on straight. See, that's the truth. The whole thing about these signs, including forgiveness, is just tell the truth. Maybe you were going through a time and you didn't feel like forgiving you, or maybe you were just deep into the conversation about what others have done. I know that story well. But tonight, have you noticed? This has not been a conversation about what others have done. Self love starts with the individual. Yeah. And the individual has to practice it daily. Is it going to be easy? Sometimes no. Does it mean that people may see you as being selfish? We're not worried about that. But love is patient. Are you patient with you? Raise your hand. Put it in the chat. Are you patient with you? Love is also kind. Are you kind with you? Do you call yourself names? Stop it, stop it, stop it. Sometimes you might call yourself a name, you got to take it back. But don't be impatient with you and then be patient with everybody else. Don't be kind to everybody else and not be kind to you, because that's not love. That's not the kind of love that you need. If you go to 1 Corinthians chapter 13, a lot of people use this scripture when they're getting married. But it touched me the other day that sometimes maybe I'm not as patient with me as I need to be. I won't give myself the opportunity to grow through something. That's a great place to start. I'm not as kind to me, you know. I would just, I've always been an achiever. And then I went through a time when I wasn't. Boy, was I ever mad at me and everybody else around me. Forgiveness had to set in, but I had to give myself some kindness and give myself a break. There's a long list of other things that love is. It's not envious, it's not jealous, it's not boastful, it's not selfish. Those are the things that you can do to build up your self love. You have the opportunity of a lifetime to love yourself and make yourself healthier. And I believe if you find yourself in any of the signs of connecting with them, we all do, I did, just start there. Start there and start reaching deep inside and saying, nope, before I do anything else, I am going to commit myself to loving me so that I can love others much better. If you're always loving someone better than you're loving you, then there's this gigantic hole in your heart, and you're going to find something to replace it, and the something to replace it may not be healthy for you. So let's pull back during the month of love as we are giving others balloons and flowers. You notice I already have my balloons. And I guarantee you I'm going to celebrate, because I don't want me not to feel loved. I'm hoping that you'll agree with that and that you'll share with it in the comments, because I think that is important. So that's all I have. I thought those were kind of deep, but great reminders of how we, in loving ourselves, whether we like it or not, is the main ingredient for learning how to love others. Now, somebody's going to argue with me and say, what about the selfish person? That is not the topic of this conversation. That's a totally different broadcast. But love feels good. And you should definitely learn how to love yourself even more each day, because love grows and it's powerful, and love is God. Okay, I'm done with that. But I can keep going. But I want to talk about the other reason that we're here tonight. In addition to talking about self-love, I also want to talk about the anniversary of my debut novel, Adria's Transformation. 2 years ago, February 14th, we launched this book. This is my debut novel, y'all. When I sit and I read it, I go, wow. I actually sat down over a period of years. It was placed on the shelf. I connected with a coworker, and it just seemed like it's just spiraled into something amazing and great. And I'm just really grateful. Aren't they the cutest little lovebirds? Don't they look cute? And it's a Christian love story. And a lot of people were asking me, what in the world is a Christian love story? I said, I'm a Christian and I wrote about love. It's really simple. It was simple for me. But it also made me realize that people think there's a disconnect between Christian love and other kinds of love. I'm a Christian. I wrote about love. And another person said, well, are you sure this isn't your autobiography? I said, I would have had to live 15 lives in order to do all of this. So no, this is probably real life with a splash of fiction. Because you can definitely understand as you purchase it. You can purchase it on Amazon today, or you can send me a message and send me an email at obiepaula@gmail.com. And I will certainly send you an autographed copy. Oh, you have ways. And what I want to do this year, I want to make sure that I really launch this during this time, because I believe that we all need to kind of sit back and read something that doesn't cause us a little bit of a headache. Now I'm not going to say it doesn't have any drama in it, because it does have drama. But we all need something to make us have hope. And we all need something to give us an opportunity to say, if they can get through it, I can get through it. Because even though it maybe have been written in a Christian in a fiction format, the feedback that I've received from those who purchased the book has been phenomenal. People have said things to me like, I wish I'd had this when I was a teenager. One lady, and I didn't ask permission to use her name, so I can't use her name, so I'm going to paraphrase. She said to me, if I wish I had enough money to purchase this book for every young woman in my neighborhood, because what you have written about can help them. My eyes just fill with tears because, you know, you never know what's going to come out of your journey. And part of it, if you know me really, really, really well, you'll see me in the female character. And we only have a few more minutes, and I thought it might be a good idea for me to just talk about them a little bit. And because really the female character really had an issue with self-love, I think that was one of her issues. And she realized that until she got a handle on it, she wasn't going to be able to move forth in her life, that it was causing her a lot of pain. And if you know someone who's in that situation where they're trying to figure it out, and let them read this book. They probably need to go and get some counseling because you need some professional help sometimes when you're working through some deep-seated emotional problems. And today we're open to, especially in the Christian community, we're open to talking to someone. We have great coaches out there. You have an opportunity to get some help. And then when you read this book and it resonates with you, that's just another tool to say, I think I can relate to that. I can get through that. So I wanted to read a little bit of it with you. Is that okay? We're almost ready to pull this train into the station. I normally don't talk but about 30 minutes, but this was kind of juicy tonight. And so I got a little happy, but I want to read just a little bit, and I have to put my glasses on so I can see. And I'm just going to set the stage. I'm not going to read all of it, but I'm going to set the stage that the female character, her name is Adria, she had gotten into a place where she was in trouble. She didn't know how to make a great decision for herself. She was at a crossroads, that's what I want to say, in her life. So she's in the counselor's office, and I don't want to give too much of it away, but I feel like I need to read a little bit of it just to give you, a little bit of feedback, just to give you a little something. So I'm going to, all right, I'm going to tell you more than I probably should, but here we go. Dr. Bailey was a Christian therapist who believed in the holistic method of faith, science, and practical living. She often employed the biblical experiences into her therapies to assist with her patients' healing. Adria looked into Dr. Bailey's eyes in answer to the question. Yes, I guess so. Okay, do you trust Bryson? I was really trying, Adria said, her voice raised. I saw a future for us, I'm not here to tell you what to do, Adria. I'm just here to help you work through this. So tell me, why can't you see a future now? And then Adria goes on to have a conversation about why she can't see a future now with Bryson, who's a main character. And then if you skip down, and I'm doing this purposefully purposely, and perhaps afraid of losing your man, Dr. Bailey inquired, pushing Adria just a little further to her truth. Adria chose not to audibly respond to the question, but rather gave a facial expression to indicate that it was a probability. Why would you be afraid of losing the man you love and whom you say loves you? I don't know. There's just a lot going on inside of me. Ah, yes, said Dr. Bailey. There's always a battlefield in the mind we must overcome. Adria raised her eyes and looked directly at Dr. Bailey. I don't want someone to be able to come in and destroy my happiness like this. I feel out of control, like I don't matter. And I matter. She insisted, pointing to herself. Then, in a lower volume, repeated the statement as if she were only saying it to herself. I matter. Yes, you do, said Dr. Bailey. You matter. You matter. That's a great way to end this show tonight. You matter. And your self love, that's really what it's saying. That in addition to everything else that's going on, you matter. Then you can love others as you love yourself. So I hope that you've enjoyed tonight's broadcast. I know I have. It's time to turn this train around. It's time to pull it into the station. I'm getting ready to pump the brakes because this broadcast is based on an excerpt from Romans 12:2. And it says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So if you're out there where you don't have enough love for yourself, we need for you to make some changes. And you need to learn how to love you so that you can definitely love others. And that's all we have tonight. You have to trust the process. I say it every week in order for the power of transformation to do its perfect work in your life. And that's all we have. So we want you to have a good evening, and we will talk to you soon. Actually, we'll see you next week. Take care.